Look up. Before maps, before calendars, before history itself, there was the sky. The ancient Greeks watched 7 wanderers move across the heavens. They called them planetes, the wandering ones. And they were not alone in thinking something divine moved them. They did not see random lights. They saw gods, moving, watching, influencing every birth, every war, every harvest beneath them. Zeus, Ares, Aphrodite, Hermes. Each god had a planet. Each planet carried a myth, and buried inside those myths, a system of understanding the cosmos that would shape astrology for 3,000 years. This is not mythology. This is not mere religion. This is a hidden science, a map of the soul written in starlight. Tonight, we go back to where it all began. Greece, 5th century before the Common Era, the most curious civilization the ancient world had ever seen. A people who looked at everything and asked, why? They built temples not just for worship, but as instruments of observation. The orientation of every great temple was deliberate, aligned to the solstice, aligned to the stars. In the Agora, the great public square of Athens, philosophy and astronomy were not separate fields. The same minds that debated justice and beauty also mapped the movements of the heavens. They did not separate the divine from the mathematical. To understand the orbit of a planet was to understand the mind of a god. Astronomy and theology were one and the same discipline. Men like Pythagorean, Plato, and Aristotle understood that the sky was a text, written in light and motion, and the gods were its authors. Their model of the cosmos placed Earth at the center, and around it, 7 great spheres, each carrying a wandering light. Each one ruled by a god whose nature matched its movement perfectly. 7 gods, 7 planets, one sky above every soul that ever lived. This is where the hidden astrology of the Greeks begins, and it begins with a question that has never lost its power. What do the wandering lights mean? Every star in the sky stayed perfectly fixed, night after night, year after year. Every star, except 7. 7 lights that moved, slowly, deliberately, as if with purpose. The Greek word was planetes, wanderers, and the astronomers who tracked them spent lifetimes mapping every deviation, every retrograde loop, every moment one of the 7 paused and seemed to change its mind. To an ancient shepherd, a farmer, a sailor, the appearance of a bright planet on the horizon was not a curiosity. It was a visitation, a god drawing near. 7 was not an accident. The philosopher Pythagorean taught that the 7 spheres each vibrated at a different frequency, producing the music of the spheres, an eternal cosmic harmony too vast for human ears to detect. 7 strings on the lyre of Apollo, 7 gates in the underworld, 7 days in the sacred cycle. The Greeks saw 7 everywhere in the architecture of reality, and the 7 wandering lights confirmed it. First, the 2 greatest lights, the sun, Helios, who drives his chariot across the day sky, the moon, Selene, who rides silver through the night. Between them, they measure all time. Venus, brilliant and insistent at dusk. Mars, ruddy and restless. Mercury, fleet and almost invisible, always near the sun. 3 of the 7, each already wearing its character on its face, Zeus, the brightest star-like object in the ancient sky after Venus. Steady, golden, unhurried. The king does not rush. And last, farthest, slowest, coldest, Saturn, Cronus, the god of time. He alone of the seven takes 30 years to complete one circle of the heavens. The ancients knew some forces are too vast to be hurried. Zeus, king of the Olympians, lord of the sky, of thunder, of sacred law. In the night sky, his planet burned brighter than any star, steady, unhurried, and impossible to ignore. Jupiter moves slowly through the zodiac, one full circuit in 12 years. The Greeks saw his patience as the patience of a just ruler, never rushed, never reckless, always inevitable. In astrology, Jupiter is the great benefic, the planet of expansion, abundance, and fortune. Where Zeus looks, things grow. Where his bolt strikes, the world is remade. Aries, god of war, of blood, of the raw will to fight. Not a general, a force. The Greeks both feared and needed him. His planet burned red in the sky, and they called it what it was. The ancient generals studied Mars obsessively. When it blazed red and bright, wars were started. When it faded, campaigns were ended. The planet did not merely reflect the god. The planet was the god, present and watchful. Even Aries had a weakness. His secret love for Aphrodite, Venus, gave astrology one of its most enduring patterns. Mars and Venus in tension, in attraction, forever circling each other across the sky. Aphrodite, born of sea foam and desire. Her planet, Venus, is the most brilliant object in the sky after the sun and moon. Always close to the horizon, always either the first light of evening or the last light of dawn. Venus never strays far from the sun. She appears at dusk as the evening star or at dawn as the morning star. Always at the threshold, always on the boundary between one world and the next. The Greeks called her Phosphorus at dawn and Hesperus at evening. In astrology, Venus rules attraction, beauty, and the power of things to draw each other together. Her mythological girdle, which made the wearer irresistible, is the perfect symbol. Not force, but magnetic pull. Hermes, the divine messenger, the god of crossroads, of language, of trade and thieves and travelers. In the sky, Mercury is the fastest planet. It completes its orbit in just 88 days. Always near the sun, always almost impossible to catch. Mercury is the hardest planet to see with the naked eye. It never wanders far from the sun, appearing only briefly at twilight, then vanishing. The ancient astronomers who tracked it had to be quick and patient, like Hermes himself. In astrology, Mercury rules the mind, the messenger between the conscious and unconscious, between thought and speech, between worlds. As psychopomp, Hermes was the only god who could travel freely between the living and the dead. Mercury in the birth chart shows how we think, how we communicate, how we cross our own inner thresholds.
Selene, the moon goddess who drives her silver chariot across the heavens each night. She is the first measure of time, the original calendar, written in waxing and waning light. In astrology, the moon rules the soul, the memory, the rhythms of feeling that move in cycles no one controls. of all the seven, the moon alone is felt in the body. The tides rise and fall with her. Women's cycles mirror her cycles. In astrology, the moon is the most personal planet. She rules not what you do, but what you feel. Not the public face, but the inner life. Selene fell in love with the mortal Endymion and asked Zeus to grant him eternal sleep so she could gaze upon him forever without losing him. This myth carries the moon's deepest astrological truth. The moon is the seat of longing, of what we love but cannot hold, of the tides of feeling that return no matter how many times we turn away. Helios, the sun god who drives his flaming chariot from east to west, each day without deviation, every day, without exception. In astrology, the sun is the self, the fixed center around which all other planets orbit. Your sun sign is not who you seem to be, it is who you are. Unlike the other 6 wanderers, the sun cannot be observed directly at night. The Greeks who studied him had to be clever. They studied his effects, the length of shadows, the angle of light, the way life itself organized around his presence. You do not look at the sun, you look at what the sun illuminates. The myth of Phaeton is the sun's deepest teaching. The light that gives life can also burn. In astrology, a strong sun can produce great radiance or devastating pride. The son who tried to be his father and couldn't hold the reins. Every generation knows this story. Cronus, the titan of time who devoured his own children rather than be overthrown by them. His planet, Saturn, is the outermost of the 7, the slowest, the coldest. In astrology, Saturn is the great teacher, the planet of limits, of discipline, of the lessons that can only be learned the hard way. Saturn takes 29 years to circle the heavens once. An ancient Greek born under Saturn would see his planet return to its birth position only once in their lifetime, if they were fortunate. They called this the Saturn return, the moment of reckoning, the moment of becoming. Cronus devoured his children because a prophecy told him one would overthrow him. He could not stop time from producing his replacement. In astrology, this is Saturn's deepest truth. The old order resists what must come. Limits eventually become the very things they fear. And the one thing that escapes, always, is the light. What if the myths were never separate from the sky? What if Zeus was not merely inspired by Jupiter, but was Jupiter? Translated into a story a child could remember, a priest could teach, a civilization could carry for 3,000 years without ever losing the meaning. The Greek philosophers who gave us the mythological tradition were the same people who gave us the astronomical tradition. Thales, Anaximander, Pythagoras, Plato. They did not separate these things because these things were not separate. The myth was the memory system for the astronomical observation. The Greeks were not alone in this. In Babylon, in Egypt, in India, in China, every ancient civilization that studied the sky found the same 7 wanderers, and every one of them assigned them divine personalities that match culture to culture with astonishing precision. Jupiter is always the king. Mars is always the warrior. Venus is always the goddess of love. Different names, different myths. One sky. Persephone descends to the underworld each year and returns, and while she's gone, nothing grows. The ancient Greeks were not only describing seasons, they were mapping the moon's disappearance and return, the agricultural calendar, the rhythm of light and dark that is written in the sky every single month. The myth is the lunar year, One encodes the other perfectly. In astrology, the sun rules consciousness, the light that allows us to see ourselves and the world. The myth of Prometheus is the myth of how solar awareness entered the human mind. The fire he stole was not warmth, it was the capacity for self-reflection, the ability to look in the mirror and see a self. The Odyssey is not merely an adventure story. Read astrologically. It is a complete map of the soul's journey through every planetary force. Each encounter represents a different planetary test. The Cyclops as Saturn's test of limitation, Circe as Venus's test of desire, the Sirens as the moon's test of unconscious longing. Odysseus doesn't reach home until he has faced them all. In the final book of the Republic, Plato describes the vision of a soldier killed in battle who returns to life with a vision of the 7 planetary spheres turning on the great spindle of necessity. The fates spin their threads around it. Every soul must pass through these spheres before birth and after death. Plato was not writing mythology. He was writing astrology, and he knew exactly what he was doing. The Greek mystery schools, at Eleusis, at Croton, at Delphi, were the institutions where this hidden knowledge was transmitted. Not publicly, not in writing that could be intercepted, but directly, teacher to student, in the language of myth and symbol that could be understood only by those who had been prepared to understand it. The hidden astrology of the Greek gods was not hidden from everyone. It was hidden for everyone, preserved in myth until the student was ready to see it. From Plato's Academy to Alexandria, from Alexandria to Baghdad, from Baghdad to Toledo, from Toledo to Florence, the knowledge was never lost. It was translated, transmitted, copied by hand in monastery candlelight, carried across languages and centuries. The birth chart you can read today contains every layer of this journey. When you look at an astrology chart, you are looking at a document 3,000 years in the making. You already know the 7 gods. You say their names every single week. Saturday, Saturn's day. Sunday, the sun's day. Monday, the moon's day. Tuesday comes from Chu, the Germanic Mars. Wednesday from Woden, the Germanic Mercury. Thursday from Thor, the Germanic Jupiter. Friday from Frigg, the Germanic Venus. The gods never left. They became your calendar. Saturn gave us Saturday, and his ancient character is still present in the day. Saturday is the day of rest, of pause, of long, slow time. The day when the week's momentum stops. Saturn's nature written into 7 days out of every 7. Every single week, for as long as weeks have existed. The Greeks didn't just name the days, they divided every hour. The planetary hour system assigned each hour of the day to one of the 7 planets in sequence. The planet governing the first hour of the day named the day itself. Saturday begins with Saturn's hour. Sunday begins with the sun's. The system is mathematically precise and astronomically derived. It has been in continuous use for over 2,000 years. The Greeks assigned each of their 7 god planets rulership over the 12 zodiac signs. The assignment followed character, not convention. Aries rules Aries and Scorpio, both signs defined by the Martian will to act and penetrate. Aphrodite rules Taurus and Libra, both signs defined by the Venusian love of beauty and pleasure. Zeus rules Sagittarius and Pisces, both signs defined by the Jovian hunger for expansion and meaning. The fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, are each ruled by a planet whose mythology burns. Mars, the sun, Jupiter. The Greeks built the character of each sign from the character of its ruling god. Aries acts because Mars acts. Leo shines because Helios shines. Sagittarius seeks because Zeus seeks. The myth is the sign. The god is the character. The birth chart you can have calculated today in seconds online for free is structurally identical to the horoscopes drawn by Greek astrologers 2,000 years ago. The same 12 houses, the same 7 planets in their zodiac positions, the same system of interpreting their relationships. The tool has been refined. The architecture has not changed. Carl Jung built his theory of archetypes, the foundational structures of the human psyche, from the same source the Greeks drew from, the observation that certain patterns of personality recur in every culture, every age, every human being. The warrior, the lover, the messenger, the king, the dreamer, the hero, the sage. Jung gave them different names, the Greeks gave them planets. They were describing the same thing. Today, hundreds of millions of people read their horoscope in newspapers, on apps, on social media. Most of them have no idea that the 12-line prediction they scroll past with their morning coffee is the direct descendant of a system developed by Greek astronomer priests who believed the movements of Zeus and Ares and Aphrodite shaped every human life. The form has changed. The structure is 2,000 years old. The same sky, the same 7 wandering lights, the same patterns of personality encoded in their colors and their movements. An ancient Greek shepherd, standing where you stand, looking up at what you see, would recognize everything and would tell you, without hesitation, exactly what each of those lights means. Some knowledge is not historical. It simply is. The same sky that the ancient Greeks looked up at is above you right now, or will be tonight, or has been every clear night of your life. The only thing that has changed is that now you know the names. And knowing the names of the gods does not diminish the wonder. It deepens it. Every person who has ever lived has had this experience. A clear night, a dark sky, the feeling of looking up at something that is looking back. The Greeks gave that feeling a language, a system, a set of names for what they saw moving and what it meant. That language is still yours to learn. 7 gods, 7 planets, 7 patterns of energy that the Greeks saw written in the sky and recognized in the human soul. One question remains, and it is the question this entire tradition was built to answer. Which of these lights were rising at the moment you arrived in the world? Your birth chart is the map of the sky at the exact moment of your birth. The 7 gods in their positions. The 12 signs turning. Every pattern the Greeks identified in the heavens in the moment you drew your first breath. All of it was arranged in a unique configuration that belongs only to you. That is your inheritance from the Greek sky. If you felt something shift while watching this, if the sky looks different to you now than it did at the start, then you are already part of this tradition. The ancient Greeks believed that knowledge of the stars was not just intellectual, it was transformative. Subscribe, and we'll keep looking up together. The Greeks believed that philosophy was not a solo act. It was a conversation, a dialogue. Truth emerged from the collision of different minds. So I want to ask you directly, which of the 7 planetary gods do you most feel in your own life? Tell me in the comments. I read them all. This was one door into the Greek astrological tradition. There are 12 more, one for each sign of the zodiac, and another 12 inside each one. If you want to go deeper, the next video waits. The sky was always this. It was always speaking. The only thing that ever changes is whether we know how to listen.